Hey, good afternoon, YouTube. It's How To with Doc Gaddy again. So, all this morning, I've been working on filling in all of the little screw holes. I've been putting in all the caulk around all the edges and sealing them up, as well as that roof trim. Y'all can see it in the background, that roof trim that was sagging all over the place. That really made me mad. So as a little bit of a perfectionist, I went ahead and used that Yucca board, cut it to fit, and then replaced it instead of that trim that was already in here that was already bent and broken and worn out and everything. So that's what we've been up to. What I'm getting ready to do right now is I'm letting the caulk dry. It says it's a 30-minute paint time, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna wait an hour to make sure the caulk is completely cured. It is a paintable caulk, and it is a GE silicone-free paint and paint-friendly caulking. It has a 40-year lifespan, so if this trailer lasts 40 years, it'll be the caulk that holds it together. But other than that, everything has been going good. That roof repair that we did yesterday, it sealed up wonderfully. It's, I would say rock hard, but it's also elastic, if that makes any sense. I inspect no leaks whatsoever from the passenger side of the trailer. Once I get this area primed, while it's drying, I'm going to get up on the trailer and I'm going to do the front where the hitch attaches. And then probably tomorrow, tear off the entire driver's side, reseal and reinforce it with the fiber tape. And then I'll probably get to the rear end. It just depends on if I have enough in that bucket, because it is thick rubber. A lot of people thought my comment yesterday about melting down rubber bodysuits was funny. Well, that's what it was meant to be. I try to make people smile and laugh because that's one of the things that I love, just like MBC. Like I was talking about in the intro, some of the things that I've done thus far. You can see we took down all of that sagging trim and just replaced it with the Yucca board. Then we also went through and caulked all the seams. Some of it looks better than others. Some of it looks like an amateur did it, but hey, I am an amateur. Over here, I just could not put up with this gap that was in the ceiling, and I figure it's gonna be painted anyway, it'll blend in. And then we filled in over here, and again, the caulk looks like poop, but it'll be okay. We got everything sealed up. There's a few gaps up there along that top rail, but one thing I'm gonna be looking at doing is I'm gonna get some of the quarter round molding like goes on the floor, and I'm gonna put it up around the ceiling, especially on this wall, just to dress it up a little bit and make it look a little bit better. I did decide that I am going to paint the ceiling. I just don't know if it'll be the same color as the walls or if it'll be a off color. Now, what we're using to prime the walls is Kills all-purpose interior exterior multi-surface sealer and stain blocker. It says that once you apply it, you can paint in as quick as 1 hour. But here in the South, as y'all know, it's really humid and it's not gonna dry that quick. One thing that I use to put it on is I have a Wagner Power Painter 2 that flows 5.4 gallons per hour. So what I do is I slow down the flow rate back here by adjusting this knob so that we don't end up with any runs or sags as we go. Kills allegedly has one coat coverage, so we'll see. But if it doesn't, my painter holds 1/2 gallon. So I've got another 1/2 gallon. I can go over it with a second coat as needed. So once I get the first coat on, I'll bring y'all back and show y'all what it looks like. All right, YouTube, good evening. Well, it's about 10:30, as you can tell by the lighting, my work light. gave out on me, so I'm using a light bar. But I just wanted to show you, everybody. We got one full coat. We got one full coat of the kills on the walls, and the walls look really, really good for one coat. I'm not worried about the screws because, you know, it is what it is. Everything looks good. That wall got one coat as well. And as you can see, you know, it's got a little bit showing through, but it was a raw wall that had no paint on it whatsoever. But what we're going to do, I'm going to let this dry all night because it's going to take that because of the humidity here in the south, you know, the good old south. You see there, we got the baseboards done all the way around. We got all the seams caulked up. You know, there's a few little gaps like right up there. We'll come back and touch those up with a brush. You can see right there a few little, we'll touch all that up. But again, it was just one coat with a roller. We got a little spot over here I need to fix. You can see up there how there's that gap. I'm gonna work on filling out building a filler piece to close that in tomorrow and spray some insulation up in there to help insulate it. You can see the spackle. It did a pretty good job on those screw holes. But I may come back and throw another coat on it, or I may just say to heck with it. I mean, I'm not building a luxury apartment. I'm just building an apartment to stay in while I'm at Fort Leavenworth working in the hospital. But you know, everything is turning out real good. Oh, darn, I got some paint on the outlet, but we'll fix that. But everything's turning out real good. The reason that outlet, you can see how this outlet is recessed slightly. The reason for that is the wall. I need to go through and put a lot more screws on it because it's this flexible board. And as you can see, I only put screws about every stud, but I should have put them more. And I'm gonna go through and do that tomorrow. And then I probably should have spackled the screw heads. And I might actually do that before the second coat. As you can see, they show through pretty good. The screws over here with the screws in the washer, I don't care about them. I may actually take, once it's done, and sand all the paint back off by hand just to give it kind of an industrial look, because that might look cool. But I'll just get everything cleaned up, then I'll come back and give you all a closeout. I'll talk to y'all after a while. Bye-bye. It's been a long day. A lot of things going on today, but we got started on sanding. We got started on caulking. We spackled all the screw holes. And then we went through and rolled on one coat of Kills, primer, and sealer. That stuff works amazingly well. I used a medium nap roller, both a 9-inch and a 3-inch roller, as well as a fairly decent brush to go around and do one full coat, like I said. You know, the walls, you can see them behind me, they turned out pretty doggone good for having one coat on them. It's about 10:45 now. I just got everything cleaned up, including myself. I had paint all over my face and hands and everything. It's just the way it goes. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry overnight, because, you know, here in the south we've got a lot of humidity. So I want to make sure it's absolutely dry before I go through and put on the second coat tomorrow. And then we'll let it dry. Same again. I did decide that I am going to add more screws to the stud wall. I apologize for that noise, y'all. Living in the south, that was a mosquito sprayer going through. But anyway, I did decide I'm going to add more screws to that stud wall to stiffen it up. I am going to spackle and sand all of those screw heads and then put the second coat over it, and it'll be fine. But as always, maximum and full love goes out to MBC. Without you, there'd be no motivation to do this and no drive to do this. Absolutely love MBC, and I wish all of y'all a wonderful evening and have a great day. Bye-bye. Good morning, YouTube. It's Wednesday now, and as we were talking about last night, all of the primer, it's all done, and it looks really good on the inside. So what I'm doing this morning while it's nice and cool is I'm working on the roof now. It's 8.5 foot wide, 24 foot long, 216 square foot. What I'm working on is going to be removing a lot of the old sealant. As you can see right here, some of it just comes apart. It's nasty. It's dried out. It's hardly any trouble whatsoever to remove it. What I'm using to remove it is a 5.2 amp Black & Decker corded drill and a pretty aggressive wire brush that I just picked up at Walmart. It was a Hart brand. That's the Walmart's new tool brand. Seems to be a pretty good brand. I got quite a few things by them. But that's what we're going to be working on today. I'm going to try and do the entire front as well as the opposite side today, but it just depends on how much product I have. I went and got a whole nother gallon of the product, and what I'll do is once I get up on the roof, get everything set up, I'll bring you back and I'll show you the product, how we put it on, the trowel and everything else. So I'll talk to you all in a little while. All right, so everybody, here we are up on the roof, and what you can see is how this old sealant just completely let go. And the way this roof is, it's a flat roof. And over here on the new sealant, you can see where we've already got it applied. Everything is nice and sealed up all the way down that side, no issues whatsoever. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the brush on the drill, and we're gonna remove all of this sealant right through here, all the way across. Then once we have all that removed, we're gonna come back with the leak stopper material and apply that with a trowel and push the leak stopper underneath this lip back inside there. You can see how old this stuff is. It's just coming off on my hands. But push it back inside that seam in order to seal that up completely so that we have a watertight trailer. Then I'm going to go get a 2 by 12 by 10 foot long. Each one of these seams represents where a roof beam is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay that 2 by 12 all the way across the trailer, and then I'm going to scooch out on it and use that to hold my body weight while I clean these seams up and apply the product. So I'm going to get to it, and I'll bring you back once I got it cleaned off and show you what we got. All right, YouTube, I'm about halfway through cleaning it out, and I just wanted to show you what it looks like a little bit. So I'm going to apologize for the sound. What I've got is the drill running in forward, as you can see here, and then I bring it down. End up with a nice clean surface with which to push the watertight material into so that we get a good watertight seal. But you can see how this stuff just turns to powder. There's nothing left to it. But I'll bring y'all back when we're putting down the new stuff. Talk to y'all later. All right, welcome back, YouTube. So as you can see, we got the entire front completely sealed up, as well as that entire side, and then about a quarter of the rear part. Now here in the middle, you'll notice I got a little bit cleaned off on both sides. So this little middle bit has still got to be done all the way down. And like I said earlier, I'm gonna go get a 2 by 12 by 10, because the trailer's 8.5 feet wide, lay it across, And I'm gonna scooch my big self out on there and hope it doesn't break through. Right here we've got a patch from where a limb went through the roof, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull that patch off if I can, but if it's still tightly adhered, I'm gonna leave it. And then I'm gonna try and seal it up with this black rubber stuff that we've been using that I've been telling y'all about. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start right here in this corner. You can see I left a little tape. I'm gonna trim that off once I get done. I'm gonna overlay the fresh tape on top of this, skim out my first coat as needed, put the tape in it, and then cover over it to conceal the tape and let it firm up and get fully like it's supposed to be. So y'all just keep watching, and I'll show you how this is done. All right, bye-bye. All right, welcome back, YouTube. So as you can probably tell by the top rail, got a little messy. It's because it got really dang hot up there and I just didn't give a crap. But the good thing is that stuff can be cleaned off with some mineral spirits real easy. So as promised, I want to show you what we got done. Climb up the ladder again. All right, so as you can see back here, we got a real good coat. We got the tape embedded. Where you see the tape right here sticking out, that's not, I'm not worried about it because I'm going to overlap the piece of tape that goes across the back edge of the trailer. That's going to be tomorrow. But as you can see, all the way down, almost to within about a foot of the front is where I got to. And then while I was up here, I decided those spots on the center rail that I already cleaned off, I just went ahead and sealed them up too, just because. Oh Lord, look at that big clump. Well, the good thing is there's nothing to leak there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down and take you up here to the front and show you what the front looks like, and show you what this tape looks like and everything else, just so you got an idea. All right, so up here at the front, you can see we got all the way across the front. The tape is completely embedded, no showing anywhere, and we even filled in some low spots on the roof. And then we took that sealer that you see right here, and we squirted that sealer in that groove to seal it up before we put the tar on top of it. Then that patch that was out there that I talked about, you can see that I couldn't get the patch off, so I just rubbered over the whole daggone thing. Here is the mesh that gets used. All it is just a plastic mesh. It was actually in a roll 4 inches wide, but I didn't need to go 4 inches wide, so I cut the roll in half with a hacksaw and made it, well, I'm sorry, it was 6 inches wide, so I cut it in half, made it 3 inches wide. That way it'd go twice as far. Now, as far as all this crap hanging off the edge, dirtying up the side rail and everything, like I said, that's not to worry about because it cleans up real well with mineral spirits. So now, for what else we've been doing today, once I got done with the roof, I came inside and we got our kills back out, and we went through and we applied a complete second coat of kills. And so as you can see, the walls are much more solid color than they were yesterday. There's nowhere near as much show through as there was. And I did find a couple of small runs underneath some of the screws. So what I'm gonna do tomorrow before I paint is just take a razor blade and remove them. But everything is coming along real well. You can see all the way down. That was the part, the new wall that had to be, it actually took 2 full coats of kills to cover it up. But you know, I'm gonna use a semi-dark color paint, and so it'll completely finish covering it. I'll let you know what the paint color is tomorrow once I get it picked out. And then once we got the paint on the walls, it's a matter of putting some flooring in. And then once the flooring's in, I'll start furnishing. But look forward to talking to y'all later. And do me a favor, if you like this, subscribe to it. Show your friends, show anybody that might be thinking about doing this. It's real easy to do because, like I said, I have absolutely no prior experience doing this, but if you just take your time and think through it, you can get it done. So for our closeout for the day, It's about 6 o'clock. We got a lot done. We got almost the entire roof done. As I already showed you, we got the interior second coat of Kills. It looks really good. Put a little bit on the ceiling as well, just to cover up some thin spots. But as I said earlier, I'm gonna use a dark paint, so it really won't matter. Remember when I told you I'm an amateur at this at best? So one thing I can tell you is when you're using a wire brush on a drill, you want the brush to be going away from you. Because if it's coming towards you, it will have the tendency to grab your t-shirt, rip your t-shirt, and give you one of those. So yeah, I'm a medic in the Army, so I'll do absolutely nothing to it because that's what medics do. But on this side, the wall is still its raw form because I'm going to be putting some kitchen cabinets in, and you see my workshop behind me. I'm going to be putting some kitchen cabinets in, and so I figure there's no sense to paint the whole wall if you don't need to paint the whole wall. But other than that, everything went real well today. Really enjoyed it. And as always, you know, MBC, everything is for MBC. And if it wasn't for MBC, none of this would have been possible. And I really appreciate all the love and support that MBC has shown me. And other than that, we'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to finish up the roof and probably start putting some top coat on. So y'all have a wonderful evening. And if you like this, like and subscribe. Show it to your friends that may be thinking about doing this. Like I said earlier, it ain't hard. You just stop, take a minute, think through it. All right? Y'all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.